the media has brought to our attention that we are living in a toxic world. However, in the media also, they're recognizing the fact that most of these toxins are not in our outdoor environment, but right under our own nose, or at least right under our own roofs. Matter of fact, indoor air quality is 5 to 7 times more toxic than outdoor air quality, according to studies. So, not to be overwhelmed by what are the things we need to do to regain our health, or at least avoid disease, we've come up with our toxic top 10 that we'd like to share with you for this very purpose, to make it simple. So let's start with number one, household cleaners. Household cleaners are a big problem because they contain many cancer-causing agents. And really the big problem with household cleaners is there's no government basically rules that they have to reveal to you the ingredients in the products, especially ingredients that we know cause cancer. All they're required to do is put danger labels on them, for example, like they were going to explode. So it's very difficult to know what's in the product unless you're buying safe products. Let's talk about some of the products you need to replace. The good news for this is most grocery stores today have these safe alternatives. Dishwashing detergent, the one that you actually put in your dishwashing machine, this is critical because it's touching your dishes, and this air from the machine, these chemicals are being permeated all through your home. Also, just the dishwashing soap that you use to wash your dishes with. Laundry detergent, very important. Why? Because this is what you're putting on your clothes and breathing all day. Fabric softeners contain many neurotoxins that absolutely this needs to be replaced. Again, the good news, folks, there's alternatives. You can find them in most grocery stores. And also air fresheners is another big problem. Air fresheners have many neurotoxins in them. You should not use air fresheners. Common replacement, actually natural essential oils, things like that. And lastly, just the hard surface cleaners that we use every day. You can just replace those with many things, even making your own products at times. Okay, number two, carpets and furniture. Carpets and furniture, I think the carpet research industry called CRI has really come up with a lot of slick marketing, and now they're realizing, because there were so many complaints about people getting sick from carpets, well, now they're advertising for low VOC, low formaldehyde carpets, which is really good. However, there's thousands or many other chemicals in carpets. Matter of fact, a little experiment, I don't recommend you do this at home, but if by chance you put a mouse in a tube with a piece of carpet or carpet pad, brand new that is, and you put another mouse in one that doesn't have carpet or carpet pad, you'd have one dead mouse in the morning. You figure out which mouse will be dead. Anyways, for these solutions, we like and prefer hardwood, not laminates, but true hardwood. Also, good piece of advice: if your carpets are over 2 years old, they've probably outgassed most of the chemicals. If you're buying new carpet, think real wool and real carpets. And there's many sources and many websites out there that have these safe furniture and carpets today. All right, water supply. Two things you need to look out for in the water supply. It's very simple. City water doesn't have the bacteria, the parasites that we were concerned about in the past, but we are concerned about chlorine and fluoride, two extremely cancer-causing toxic chemicals. We like whole house water filtration. Why? Because a 10-minute shower literally is like drinking 10 glasses of chlorinated water. So we like whole house water filtration. If you can't do that, at least get a point of service filtration unit of some sort. Any type of filtration, great. Let's knock down these chemicals. Number four, cookware. Cookware is something that's been in the news lately. Teflon. Teflon. You're going to see that in the news because there's lawsuits being brought against Teflon for people getting sick from using these. Every time you use Teflon, it outgasses these chemicals into your home. Simple solution. Stainless steel, go back to the good old days. Cast iron. Okay, number five is mold and biotoxins. Mold has become a new modern day epidemic because we're building our homes and buildings very tight. Most of you probably have heard of sick building syndrome. Most of that is due to mold. Well, two easy solutions here to prevent mold. Number one, you have to keep your household humidity under 50%. Over 50% is going to start creating humid in an environment where mold actually will grow. We have two things that we like to put in our homes to get rid of mold, or at least control mold. Number one, a dehumidifier. That will keep your humidity below 50%. And something called an exchange ventilator. It brings fresh air in and stale air out, because remember what I said, tight buildings are the problem why this has become an epidemic. So an ERV or an exchange return ventilator is the solution to that problem. That also helps with chemicals, by the way, as well. Okay, so those are the 5 under your roof. Now, there are 5 right under your own nose. Let's start with personal care products. Ladies, pay particular attention here because, yes, that's your makeup that you're using every day. You're putting things right on your skin. Guess what? Those things go right into your bloodstream and therefore make you toxic. Look, I don't have time to go through all the chemicals that you would read on these labels because, frankly, you wouldn't know what you were reading, and nor would I anymore. But let me just give you 3 that you need to watch out for. One is sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS, which is in practically everything. It kind of makes things bubbly, and it gives it a nice smooth feel when you put it on. Read the ingredients, look out for them. Another one is propylene glycol. Propylene glycol is basically antifreeze. Yes, you're rubbing antifreeze into your system. Obviously, I don't have to explain that that's toxic. And another one is called DEA. DEA is known to cause cancer. It absorbed right into your skin. Most products have these 3 things in them. Just in general, look for things that you actually can read. A lot of chemicals, the more chemicals, bad product. Organic, natural, yes, maybe better, but not always. You still have to look at the ingredients. Again, if you can't read it, definitely don't eat it, but you may not want to wipe it on your skin either. So, okay. As a matter of fact, this was actually a patient of mine that brought this in. This is what our patients do. They go through their entire house and they start replacing their cleaners, their makeups, the things they're putting in their hair, everything that has fragrance in it. These things are toxic. You'll want to replace them with all natural. I recommend you do the same thing. All right. So, plastics. Plastics are a big problem today. Why are they a big problem? Because they're xenoestrogens. Okay, that's a hard word, I know, but basically what that means is it mimics certain hormones like estrogen in your body. And why that's a problem? Cancer causing. So, give you some advice here. When you look at bottles, avoid plastic with as much as you can. Matter of fact, don't put hot things in plastic, and definitely don't store hot and fatty foods in plastic. Bad idea. However, if you want to use plastic, flip the bottle over, and there's a couple numbers you want to look at. The numbers 3, 6, and 7 are the ones you want to stay away from. The numbers 1, 2, 4, and 5 are the better plastics. I prefer number 1. Look for the number in the little triangle on the bottom, or like this particular bottle, it happens to be on the triangle in the little side. It's the recycling number, so pay attention to that. All right, well, toxins in foods, you knew I would get to that. Toxins in foods have become a big problem. Pesticides, herbicides, steroids, excitotoxins, all these things that are making the news. Okay, what do we do here? Number 1, we can all eat organic. Raises your price, I know. So if you can't eat all organic, here's my recommendation. At least wash your fruits and vegetables. At every grocery store, they sell vegetable wash. But here's the biggie, folks. Meat. Get meat from a local farmer, good grass-fed meat. You know why? It takes acres of sprayed grain to make a pound of beef. Guess what? That means there's more chemical in that amount of meat. So the meat is the big one. That's where you're going to get most of your chemicals. Replace your meat first, folks. And you know what? It doesn't have to be more expensive if you get it from a local farmer. Okay, it brings me to number 9, which is one of my favorite topics, mercury. Why is mercury such a problem today? It's making the news. Number 1, you hear it making news in vaccinations. Absolutely a problem there. But you know what? The number 1 adult source of mercury is what's in your fillings. Amalgam fillings contain 50% mercury. Now, what do we need to do to replace those the fillings? Well, you have to do it safely, and we have some information on that. But you also want to detox the mercury that's bound up in your cells. That's true, and you're going to hear me say this time in and time again. True detox has to be at the cellular level. But avoid mercury. I know you're going to want to talk about fish. Fish is absolutely an exposure. I'll give you this advice. Don't eat the big predator fish. Stick to the small fish and stick to fish in the Pacific as opposed to the Atlantic. Number 10 may come as a surprise to some of you, but maybe not many, because so many people today are on medications, which are leading to our toxic burden. And folks, I can't tell you to come off of your medications, but what I can tell you is medication makes detoxification and getting this stuff out of your system even more important today. Those are the toxic top 10. But I want to leave with this note. Basically, this is what we tell our patients and what I tell my patients is, look, if you want to stay healthy in today's toxic world, if you want to get healthy in today's toxic world, yes, we need to replace our toxic top 10, no doubt. We need to get rid of the source. However, you can't just get rid of the source today. You have to get rid of what's already bound up in your body, making you sick. And there's so many detox products on the market, colon cleanses, fad colon cleanses, liver cleanses. But you know what? True detoxification has to occur at the cellular level. That is how you're going to gain your health back. Remove the source and do true detox, and it only happens at the cellular level.